Everybody, welcome to the morning market briefing. It's Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Ben, Tom, how we doing? Tom looking handsome.
You know what? I think you look handsome as well today.
Thank you. This happens a lot, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not, but Tom and I have on the same vest in different colors.
That'll happen.
That'll happen. Weird fit on this vest. I'll throw that out there.
It's a little on the short end.
It's short and wide, which is a bad combination because it makes me... I'm not in hands up. If you're an audio listener only, you probably picturing 5.8% body fat, lean, mean, fighting machine. But I'm not actually. And I would say I have a pretty blubbery build, and it doesn't do me any favors. It makes me look both shorter and wider.
See, so I find it very forgiving. Those of you who are not visual listeners as well might know that I have a frog body, which is that I have the torso of a man who is 5'7" and the legs of a man who's 6'7", and so I end up looking very strange. And so it helps a little bit with offsetting my hippie nature.
But see, for me, it's like the opposite. I have relatively short legs, and the vest like barely reaches my belt.
Yeah, it's
very wide and loose.
Yeah. The first thing I noticed was like, oh, this is fine because I have a short torso.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I got an extra large, which is what I wear in pretty much everything upper body. And I was like, I wish they had a large, tall size that would have fit.
Yeah.
But
50 long.
Yeah. Ben, how are your clothes today?
Yeah, I don't.
You're also looking handsome.
I don't have the Masters jacket.
You and Hicks kind of matching.
Yeah,
pretty close. Both wearing pants and shirts and black pullovers.
And underpants, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. But yeah, Tom and I were out at the Masters yesterday separately. Just saw each other for a brief moment.
Yeah, we ran into each other about 4:45.
Yeah.
What was the highlight for each of you?
Man, the azaleas, I think, for me. The landscape, I think, is what's most impressive. The greenness of the greens and the pinkness of the pinks.
I love, yeah, I mean, the course is definitely the hero of the day. My two favorite memories, watched Dustin Johnson putt for a while, and they were up on the green doing the thing where they would do fake holes, just hypothetical locations on the screen. And to a member there that had on the green jacket, I commented that he did not seem to be very good.
Yeah,
he was not putting near the hole because he wasn't trying to, and he looked at me like I was a 4-year-old. But I did get a group of older ladies who were asking who was coming up to the tee box on 8, and I said, that's Tiger, and they got very excited. And
nice.
Tiger Woods, I don't know if you've heard, but not there this week.
Yeah. I saw Ben Crenshaw up at the clubhouse, which was famous old man golfer, which was kind of cool. We
got to see Freddie Couples playing a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen Freddie a couple times. I saw him play with Tiger in 2018.
Can you see? Do you have an appreciation of the skill that they have?
Oh yeah,
like versus someone else just out on some country club. You can like no, this is an elite, like someone who's practicing, but an elite.
I don't play a lot of golf at all. Like it's like maybe once a year. Like if I can avoid it, I try to. But maybe once a year I get stuck out there. But back in the day, like I played with good, normal guy golfers. Some, guys that were scratch golfers, and even just the sound of when they strike the ball, at like the professionals, it's totally different, and it's pretty insane.
And that course is bonkers.
The other thing, which hole is it that's like basically straight uphill and it's got 3 bunkers right in front of it?
5,
yeah, which is like so daunting. The coolest thing I saw of the day from anyone that was on the course was the caddy sitting at essentially the top left-hand corner and basically bowling golf balls back, where they would break a certain way down the green, and then like split bunkers and roll exactly to where Keegan Bradley was standing to hit some practice shots. But it was like reverse engineering the shot, basically.
Yeah.
And just like bowling it back. And I mean, they landed exactly where his club face was resting. It was crazy.
The green on 5 is punishing.
Yeah.
That whole hole is ridiculous. I mean, the bunkers on the left-hand side are like the size of a football field combined. I mean, it's just massive. And I think that's one of the longer, it might be the second longest hole on the course. It's just a great day.
Yeah.
I will say we both complained that it's been a little Disney-fied with the merch was not as strong as it used to be. They've kind of gone the way of like, it used to be you could get a lot of off-brand Masters gear that sort of had like themes, and like the Masters themselves have leaned into like the pimento hats and like all of the goofy stuff that you can get from like
I'm
Barstool.
driving.
Yeah. So it's tough because it used to be like real Masters gear is like classy and sophisticated and had the logo on it. Now it's just like
kind of stupid,
goofy rope hats. Yeah, I was disappointed with the merch, but I think also it's become the TikTok culture of the getting the haul, getting all the stuff.
Yep. Has
made it kind of less cool to actually go in the merch shop, I think.
Yeah, I was going to post a video of just this is my Masters haul, and it's just going to be a selfie video.
I got this hat. I got this vest.
It's just going to be a selfie video of me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk AI. Anthropic revenue. What are we seeing, Ben? Seems like people are ramping up.
Yeah, I know we've been concerned about, is there going to be a business case for a lot of this equipment spending and chip spending that's going into place? And we're certainly seeing this. So last year in January 2025, the company earned $1 billion in revenue on an annualized basis, which 1 billion divided by 12 is about 85 million. This year in March, they did 19 billion, a 19x increase in 15 months. In April, and we're what, 7 days into April, 8 days into April, $30 billion. So, already we're increasing. We're not increasing at 50% year over year. We're increasing at 50% month over month, which is wild. But then you think about what the people who are using it. And so we're starting to use a decent amount of, we're using Perplexity, which sits on top of Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini and all these other models. We're very much into the token game, and we're trying to keep, tokens under a certain amount. We don't want to burn through a lot of tokens because it costs money. And so 10,000 is a lot of tokens. I was trying to be very efficient yesterday. I spent about 1,500 tokens building kind of a macro dashboard. Meta,
this guy
has a leaderboard for how many tokens you can use. It actually bases some compensation on that. Some people have said that productivity has increased 10x because of this. They called it Clodonomics. They have Meta employees are token maxing and competing on an internal leaderboard for status as a, quote, and this is a real thing, a token legend. You can be a token legend, a session immortal, as well as a model connoisseur or a cash wizard.
Hicks is a bit of a model connoisseur himself, very into models.
Meta, over the most recent 30 days, the total usage topped 60 trillion tokens. Not 5,000, not 10,000, 60 trillion. One person used 281 billion tokens. That means this one person in 1 month probably cost about $1 million to $4 million in token usage. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's way more, obviously. I mean, you're not paying an engineer $12 to $40 million a year, but you're spending that on his Claude usage. And so we're really starting to see the money shift from human capital to, basically IT capital. And I think this is really bad for certain industries. It's obviously very bad for India's IT services industry. But I think this is fascinating, and it comes at a time when Anthropic is just doing a deal they announced this morning with Google and Broadcom. They say Amazon Web Services remains its primary partner, but they need to, the business and enterprise case. Right now, we're having the ChatGPT moment for business. What we had in early 22, I think it was. We're now having in business and enterprise, and it's causing a massive revolution.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, sort of to the tune of your decimate doesn't mean what it actually means. The semantic drift on being a token legend has definitely drifted. I mean, it used to be you were actually super unproductive. I mean, like the original token legend was probably Bob Marley or someone of that ilk, So it's pretty ironic that it now means someone who's very productive.
I'm curious, Ben, do you think there's structural and incentive concerns with things like this? The gamification where it's like, oh, this guy used, let's call it $4 million worth of tokens. It seems like this is in the hands of the wrong employee. You are burning cash.
Yeah, you get paid based on how much of Narwhal's money I could spend.
Yeah, right.
I would still be in Augusta.
It's like Brewster's Millions.
Yeah.
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, and the article actually even alludes to that at one point. It's behind a bit of a paywall. It's reported by The Information, which is the name of the news source, and they say to that exact point that some people actually program their Claude usage to purposefully blow through tokens as much as possible. So I definitely think that you're on the right track on that. At Narwhal, we were trying to do the opposite. We're trying to be as efficient as possible with our token usage. obviously, but Meta is not doing that. I am curious. So we've solved kind of the business case and how does Anthropic make money? Now it means how does someone going through all these tokens use it to make money or become more productive? And so now the proof is going to be in the pudding for a company like Meta. Do their margins increase significantly, or are they going to get hammered by the compute costs?
Yeah.
I mean, how much did they rake in on Masters Hall videos on Reels? You know, like that's how they do it, right? You get inside the brain of every person who's going in the doors of Augusta National and making them feel like they have to spend $3 trillion and sit for 2.5 hours in line.
Not a lot of tokens sold.
Yeah. I mean, the lines at the gift shop at times were as long as I've ever seen them, and people were walking around with 4 or 5 bags, or people dragging their bags on the ground.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Isn't the Masters a cell phone free zone?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, but I guess you can take with an old fashioned camera, you can take that and then post it. Gotcha.
I just call them cameras.
Yeah. It's just a camera. No, but what's wild to me, I mean, we walked in at probably 11 and there were people walking out with like 8 shopping bags to drop stuff in their car and come back in and do it again.
So
they're going to crush it on eBay, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like, I tell people all the time, if you want to go to the Masters for free, buy a ticket for whatever day you want to go in and buy a bunch of the same item and list them all on eBay and recoup the cost of your ticket. So it can be done. Let's talk about the war. Everybody loves doing that. We got an 8 p.m. deadline tonight. Trump out earlier this morning with
quite a tweet.
I feel like people are going to think he's being mean, but says a whole civilization will die tonight. That's the opener. So happy Tuesday to everybody. Ben, where do you think we actually stand? It certainly seems to me like the rhetoric from him has ratcheted up such that I would be very surprised if there is not a massive escalation from the U.S. targeting some of the things he has mentioned, whether it's bridges, power supply, etc. I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen if a deal is not reached. I think he's boxed himself in.
I agree. I mean, I'm right now very torn between what I want to see happen and what precedent is. The problem is there's not a ton of precedent when you come with Trump. We've seen him, come to say, hey, Iran gave us a really nice gift. We're going to delay these explosions for another 10 days. And this whole taco trade, we've seen him do that. We've also seen him, when he puts a lot of forces in an area, use them. And he did that with Venezuela. And I think it's kind of foolish to think that he's not going to. I think we're at regardless of what happens, we're at a very precarious point, and it's a massive staring contest right now, and we've got a clock ticking, and they're passing the dynamite back and forth, and we just don't know who's going to end up with the dynamite, and I don't know if it's going to be diffused in time. J.D. Vance was making comments saying he thinks that Iran's going to come back with a new proposal. They did come out with a proposal last night saying that they don't want a temporary ceasefire. They want a permanent end to the war, which means no future attacks on Iran, no Israeli attacks on Hezbollah, including in Lebanon, lifting all sanctions, full sanctions relief, ending regional fighting, and then they will reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but charge $2 million per ship to be split with Oman. That's kind of the big headlines. Notably not on there was anything related to the nuclear program, so they didn't offer that. I think it's probably too far to realistically postpone strikes for another 7 to 10 days. I don't think there's been enough progress made in order to do that. But maybe Trump will blink. The market doesn't seem as concerned about it as I think maybe it would be if something was going to happen. But we've seen, but Trump's unpredictable.
I don't know how much of it is that the market doesn't know how to is not concerned enough, and how much it is the market just doesn't really know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Had the market not sold off over the preceding 5 or 6 weeks, I think we'd probably, if we got to this point, be seeing a more significant fear trade. But I think there's a little bit of like What's he going to hit? How's he going to hit it? Is he going to hit it? I mean, there's certainly a more than healthy share of hyperbole in the, hey, in 4 hours we can wipe all of this stuff out. Like, that's not realistic.
I hope it's not real. I mean,
I just think,
I hope if
I was listening to commentary last night in terms of just the amount of targets that would be there from power facilities and bridges, et cetera. And at least one man's theory of the case was that could the U.S. and Israel do that? Yes, it would take 7 to 10 days, not 4 hours. I also am not surprised that the U.S. is not jumping all over this deal. I don't really know how you possibly sign on to Iran's proposal and say, okay, we won. The logical outcome here is we're not going to attack them anymore, and we can't even attack, Hezbollah in a different country, and they're going to get $2 million a ship. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it certainly seems to be headed in a. I think the other part of the market reaction is I do think the market is heavily discounting the ability to retaliate from Iran, and how fair that assessment is by market participants, I don't really know, but it seems likely that.
I mean, if they were going to do something spectacular, would they have not already done it?
Right. It certainly seems likely to me that whatever your scale is, if this thing's been at a 3 or a 4, it certainly seems likely to me that if Trump takes it to an 8, they're not going to be able to match that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where you get, where they would try to match it, I think, would be kind of these sleeper cells, these other sponsored terror groups.
I mean,
not that they have those, we just want to make sure Lebanon's okay.
Yeah. The thing is, like, if you wanted to cripple the U.S., you wouldn't really have to hit everything. I mean, you could probably hit 10 or 15 spots simultaneously, and 90% of people would be in a bad shape. Maybe you took out the power grid in New York, Chicago, L.A., that'd be a big problem. And the question is, in my mind, is like, what does that look like in Iranian terms? Like, where are the biggest population centers, and where are the biggest population centers that have people who would be upset by that? And even if there are parts in remote Iran where people probably just kind of operate on their own sort of volition and not under rule of terrorists because they're goat herders, closer to the border. Like, you probably wouldn't hit them, let them have whatever power they do have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that would look like, but I suppose we're about to find out. What time would that be local time when we start the fireworks go off?
Probably
3 o'clock?
4 or 5 a.m. or something like that.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I don't know what time it is in Iran.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Is it today or is it tomorrow yet?
I think it's still today. Right?
I'll look it up.
Look it up. Meanwhile, Trump backing up on threats made to insurers. The 2027 Medicare base rate plan is coming in at 2.48%. They initially had hoped to have it at 0.09%. Analysts had been hoping for something closer to that 2.5% level. So it's a taco.
Yeah. I think when we have a chart on this, so basically the thinking in January was that there would be not much of a rate increase for the insurers, and now it's 2.5%. And basically they're saying we need to balance the short term with what we still want to achieve and make it sustainably financially longer term. But they basically said we're going to have to pay the insurers more now than we initially wanted to. So the insurers are all up on that, and they should be this morning. They're also not making an adjustment to the risk adjustment model that it would allow insurers to charge Medicare Advantage more for sicker patients. So that's where a lot of you have this upcoding going on in Medicare, and they did not make changes to that. So this is a favorable ruling for the insurance companies, at least for a year. And then we'll have to see what happens beyond that.
We got ISM services yesterday. Very strong data on the new orders front. Came in at 60.6, a 2-point percentage change there, but are seeing some negative impacts from prices and employment continuing to soften, which I don't know that either of those things are necessarily surprising to anybody, Ben.
Yeah, I think The prices were primarily the oil related, as we would have expected. The new orders were strong. I was a little bit surprised by the employment being so weak, especially after we got a good number on Friday. I think that might be, maybe that's a little bit due to the war, or it could be due to an earlier Easter year over year. So I don't know what's necessarily going on with that. But a couple things that stood out to me. Tariff rollbacks are resulting in favorable price adjustments. So that's good news for the people who want lower inflation. They say in construction, business operations are generally at normal levels and no interruptions, despite force majeure being received from several Middle Eastern suppliers. A lot of companies saying still in cost-cutting and operational streamlining mode. But importantly, on the data center side, and again, back to the AI point, customers have opened their 2026 capital budgets. And this is what we're seeing in the NFIB Small Business Optimism Survey. This is what we're seeing in the CEO CapEx expectations. And this is what we're seeing in trucking. And that is that we're seeing more manufacturing, and we're seeing the wheels of the economy roll. And we're seeing that on the rails. We're seeing that in the trucking industry. Wells Fargo upgraded the LTL trucking industry this morning. So we're seeing that in memory chip sales.
Yeah, Hicks, pull up that Samsung chart.
I mean, that's unbelievable. Operating profit dwarfing that of 2021 even, because of memory chips. And this is not just a Samsung specific story. Samsung makes over 90% of its profit from memory chips. Micron is also a beneficiary. SK Hynix is also a beneficiary. And this is, again, all feeds back to what we're seeing with this technology revolution in AI, which is now really hitting full steam. And I can't emphasize that enough.
Pershing Square is buying Universal, or proposes a takeover to buy Universal Music for $64.6 billion, combination of stock and cash. Shareholders would get $10.8 billion in cash and a little more than 3/4 of a share of the new stock. Why are we doing this? Like, what?
Bill Ackman wants nothing more than to become like
famous.
Of a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Just like he wants to be Warren Buffett 2.0 so badly. And he's tried this with Howard Hughes. He's tried this with now with Universal. And
Did you read his 4-page tweet the other day
Yes.
asking for legal advice about a sexual harassment claim at one of his sub companies?
Yeah.
It was so strange.
It's like, chill out, dude.
Yeah.
If only he had
He's like, hello, sweet friends of X, formerly Twitter. I'd love to ask you some legal questions.
May I meet you?
Yeah, may I meet you here in the town square to ask him some legal advice about a touchy subject.
It was very strange.
It was very strange. I'd say go look it up. It's if you'd like to do homework.
It's worth a read. Yeah. Meanwhile, Jamie Dimon sharing lots of thoughts on the economy. Ben, what stood out most to you?
I love some of his management advice. I think that it's something
I like Dimon. I know people. He's a hard guy to like, just given his position at a bank, but I like him. I enjoy hearing from him.
Yeah. On the economy, he said we got a lot of things going for it: the deregulation, the big beautiful bill stimulus, the Fed's purchase of $65 billion a month of securities, which we don't talk enough about on this call either. But certainly they don't talk about enough in the investment community or on the media. And then you have AI-driven capital spending. Obviously, there's some risks which we all know about. But on other items, he says it is important to organize in small teams to get super speed. He says the teams needed to tackle these challenges should be small and authorized with the decision-making ability to move and act like Navy SEALs or the Army's Delta Force. He says if you try to do something from the top down when it basically incorporates 1% of a lot of people's jobs, guess what? It never gets done. You need a team 100% dedicated to the mission, and everyone else supports them. I thought that was a really interesting point. He also says the importance of AI is real. Let's think about some of the we know some of the known and predictable results, but we don't know some of the unknown unknowns. And he says, for example, cars brought about the development of suburbs and shopping malls. Agriculture enabled cities, and the original internet led to mobile phones, apps, and social media. And those were things that weren't necessarily thought about at the time that cars, when the first cars came up, it's not, oh, everyone's going to be living out of the cities and shopping at malls. So I think those were some interesting things. And then finally he says, he very much had a closed with an America first kind of methodology. He said, we got to maintain the premier military force in the world, must maintain its preeminent economic position in the world, which requires reigniting the American dream, and must manage its foreign economic affairs to strengthen the U.S. economy and that of our critical allies. And then he closes with, quote, I believe we have gotten a little bit soft, too soft. Working hard, having ambition, demonstrating self-responsibility, and loving your nation are wonderful qualities. We need to rededicate ourselves to these values.
Preach, King.
Go off. Let's end it there.
This is my personal ethos.
All right. We're going to wrap it up there. We will be back tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Talk to you soon.